Hi everyone, it's time for more practice with my test run noise deck, so here goes. I'm up against the Foundry. This is my opening hand, and it's possibly one of the best hands you can ask for that does not contain any form of card draw. First, you have Aesops and Cash. They combine very well together to give you 5 extra credits after the start of your second turn. Then you have Parasite, which is incredible against the Foundry. You want to see Parasite because chances are they're running Next Ice, and Parasite is pretty much the only efficient solution against Next Ice. Above that, as you'll see later, this Parasite will come in very handy. Then, because you have Parasite and Cash, you want to see more copies of them. Deja Vu does that for you. And I'll have more than enough money to use it after I'm done installing Aesops and Cash. The medium's not very useful because most good corps ice R&D on first turn against Noise. You cannot afford to let them install Imp or Medium on the first turn. This Foundry player, however, decides to ignore that, and he pays dearly for it, which I'm very surprised by because he did not mulligan. So it cannot be that he's agenda flooded. He would have mulligan his hand otherwise. In any case, he's giving me free access. I'm taking it. I get 3 medium tokens. That's the most important thing. No agendas. A little unfortunate, but the main thing here is getting the 3 medium tokens. So he reveals that the asset that he installed just now on his first turn turned out to be an executive boot camp. I should have trashed that earlier, but I would take the medium dig over trashing executive boot camp any day. And it gives me a valid Parasite target, so why not? So first I unload Cash, and the Aesops must follow. Following that, I decide to Parasite the next bronze. Now, this could be a mistake. Usually I want to save Parasite for juicier targets. The most juicy target I can think of is Grail Ice. And since he's playing the Foundry, there's a very good chance he's playing Grail Ice. That is something I have to be worried about. So that is one reason why I chose not to run on a server with ice on my first turn. If I face check a Merlin and he has 1 Merlin in his hand, it's game over. And I don't really wish to take 6 net damage either. So yeah, that's pretty horrible. In the meantime, on his turn, he used Archive Memories to retrieve the NAPD that was milled into Archives. So it's no longer there for my picking. So with that, I decided to run his Executive Bootcamp, finally trashing it. I gave him way too many free reses. That should not have happened. If I'm not running his ice, he cannot res his ice, and things should stay that way. Alright, he makes a very wise choice. He purges Forest Counters. It doesn't really make a difference because I wouldn't run on his HQ anyway, not without some sort of assurance that I'm not going to get double Merlin my way to Oblivion. So instead, I draw up. Because I have no card draw, it's pretty inefficient, and I find myself a Charizard. In the meantime, he activates Jackson Howard and makes the biggest mistake anyone can make when playing Jackson Howard against Noise. He doesn't defend it. Now, this could be because he milled 2 cards. Last turn, after drawing with Jackson Howard, he milled 2 cards into Archives with Jackson. So it is possible that he's agenda flooded and he's dumping them with Jackson, so that's fine. But otherwise, you should almost always protect your Jackson Howard. And yes, the other big mistake is that he didn't protect Archives. So if he has eyes on both Archives and his remote server, he can actually keep a Jackson Howard for long enough to defend against the random noise mill that could cost him agendas. Alright, in the meantime, he clicks for credits. He clicked credits from 7 credits to 10 credits, so this should be a sure sign to any observant player that he is waiting for his restructure. I didn't observe that, of course. I was too busy playing my own game here, milling him into Oblivion because I drew into my second cash very early on. This is very lucky for me. Credits are not something I have to worry about. And then I install the Imp, but I don't really have any intention to use it yet. Alright, so yes, he double restructures onto 20 credits and installs an asset. So now that I have an Imp out, I might as well challenge the asset. And hilariously enough, I draw my 3rd copy of Cash. Wow. I am flooded with money. That's good. Again, rookie mistake. This is the worst thing you can do against Noise. He wasted his Jackson Howard just like that. Very big mistake. He proceeds to beta test, but he does not trigger. I'm not sure why he would want to do this. I have no agenda points. He should trigger it. If you're the Foundry, there's no reason not to trigger ABT. Is one of the reasons you play Foundry. One of the main reasons why you play Foundry. Otherwise, engineering the future is almost always better. The drip credit cannot be underestimated. The ability to fire off ABT relatively harmlessly is a huge factor. And not doing it costs him a lot of problems because he is still lacking ice. He needs ice to set up a scoring remote or to defend his central servers. So right now he cannot score agendas except via biotic labor. So that will cost him a lot of credits, and more importantly, it will cost him time to dig for his biotic labors and archive memory. So in the meantime, I can slowly take my time to set up. Now I have 2 daily casts running for me, as if I don't have enough money after drawing 3 caches. I have an imp on the table, and I have a medium. And most importantly, I have a test run in my hand ready to go. Once again, I drained him of 3 clicks because he was forced to clear virus counters. So he is really losing a lot of tempo at this point, just to clear my imp. I guess it's worth it, but this just means that he's not making any progress, whereas I can continue milling more cards from him, digging for more of my important cards. I got another imp out, and this one has 3 counters instead of 2. So yes, there is very little damage control he's doing. Well, now he's stemming the blood, the bleeding, because he managed to find another biotic into ABT. But once again, he doesn't trigger it. A huge mistake. At this point, I guess he wants to play it relatively risk-free, but he needs to take the risk if he wants to win, because I can chew his servers up very easily. I decided to announce the time because he has 4 agenda points. I cannot afford to let him score anymore. So I load up the Crypsis and make a run onto R&D. Because I was able to keep my medium on the table throughout the entire game, R&D is the most appealing server to run to collect those valuable medium tokens. He shows me the first next bronze, easy to break. The next one is an architect, not too much of a surprise there. So I break through with Crypsis. It's pretty expensive, and I see a Lancelot. So yes, he is running Grail Ice after all. During my first turn 3 medium dig, I saw the Grail Ice already. So I knew that I wanted to save my Parasite for Grail Ice, and that is why I have 1 in hand. So upon seeing the Lancelot, I'm definitely trashing it, because the last thing I want to do is to get hit by a trash 1 program subroutine, taking down my entire Scheherazade Daemon with it. So my test run Crypsis went back to the top of my deck, ready to be installed next turn. In the meantime, he has to contend with the fact that my next successful R&D run will net 2 excesses. And as you can tell, at this point in time, he's on the back foot right now, because I finally found my breaker, and I have a good amount of money to charge through his servers with. So I load up Crypsis once more, and I perform a stim hack. This is a risky stim hack. I really hope that it hits the wild side for the brain damage. Hitting the Parasite is not so bad, because I can recurse it with Deja Vu, but I do not want to get my Deja Vu hit. I saw a Lancelot and an Eden Fragment, which I stole. The Lancelot obviously gets trashed. That's the second Lancelot he has lost, and of course, because of my very good luck, I lost my Deja Vu. But no worries. Most importantly, I'm denying him all his Grail Ice. Most importantly, it's the program trashing Grail Ice. So, my rig will stay intact for as far as time will allow. In the meantime, he attempts to score an agenda. I'm not really sure what's the rationale behind this. I can almost certainly get into that server. I'm not sure why he's baiting me to make a run there. So instead of taking the risky play with accessing that server, I'm just going to see 3 cards off the top of R&D, because that is a risk-free solution and will probably win me the match point. I find Gila Hands, Executive Bootcamp. Since I'm flooded with money, that gets trashed. And a Lancelot, his 3rd Lancelot, got hit. 3rd in a row. It got imped by me. Very unlucky for him. I figured I could let him safely score this agenda if he wanted to, because Even if it was a 3-pointer, he wouldn't be able to score it in this turn. He would need to biotic to have a chance, and he has way too few credits at this point because he's not engineering the future. So once again, I could try running that server, but I suspected it was a trap, so I went for the safer option once more, which is hitting archives. There are 5 milk cards in archives, I believe, face down cards. I barged through with Tripsys, and let's see what I net myself. I need Vitruvius and NAPD, which I can steal, and that wins the game. So yeah, once again, this is a very sterling example of why you need to build your deck for the fast game. Or rather, you need to have a game plan to play fast. You cannot completely rely on taxing the runner for like 30 to 40 minutes before starting to score agendas. That has no place in today's metagame. You could use that as an alternative strategy against some of the runners who run out of steam very quickly, like Ken Tenma or Gabe. But otherwise, against runners like Noise, his main priority should have been setting up a secure scoring remote and pumping out his ABTs from there. That would have been way cheaper than Bartik laboring out everything, which is way too slow and requires combo pieces, which are easily milled by Noise. Another thing worth mentioning is that I felt very safe throughout this entire game. Knowing that he spent at least 7 or 8 influence on Grail Ice, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't run any form of traps, so I had no reason to be worried about running with less than 3 cards in hand, no reason to be worried about running with less credits than him. Unlike Jinteki, Ambien, and Wayland, which poses one or more of these threats, HB almost always doesn't pack any of these flatline threats, so as such they are very easy to predict and it's pretty easy to run against them. So this is why HB is rather uncompetitive and ID at this point in time. It's the least represented at Worlds, and it continues to be rather slightly weaker than the other 3 factions. So yep, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and happy net running. Goodbye.